Hello, good day. Welcome to Solve Better. I want to continue our questions. We began solving questions that were given to senior secondary two SS2 students in Lagos State public schools. Their unified exam last time. So we solved question one and two. I'm going to share the link below. We move on to question two, question three rather. So we have to find the values of this angle theta lying between 0 degrees and 360 degrees for this equation. 6 sine theta plus what? 5 is equal to 0. Now, how do we find the solution? What do we do? The solution to is we say this, we'll make sine theta the subject of the formula. You say 6 sine theta plus 5 is equal to 0. Then from here, 6 sine theta is equal to 0 minus 5. 6 sine theta is equal to minus 5. Sine theta is equal to divide both side by this 6 here, minus 5 over 6. Now, what does this negative imply? We can say this is minus sine theta is equal to 5 over 6. So this negative implies that sine, the value of sine is what? Negative. Where in our quadrant is sine negative? The quadrants in trigonometry, yeah, all positive here. Sine is positive here. Tan is the only thing positive here. Cos is positive. So it means that here sine is negative. Negative sine. Here negative what? Sine. So keep that in mind. Now we can just, since we know that, we can just say let's solve this without the minus. Then theta is equal to sine arc 5 over 6. Now we have to, you can type that in your calculator. Sine arc 5 over 6. Sorry, my sign is looking. Sine 5 over 6, which is theta is equal to 56.4426. Now let me approximate this to the nearest degree. I will have what? 56 degree. I've approximated this to the nearest degree. Let me write the nearest degree. Don't forget in mathematics, if you approximate, you must state it. I've approximated this to the nearest what? Degree. This is a nearest degree. So now, since we have gotten this to be 56, we will now come here, because our sign is negative, we'll come here. Now we know that here we apply all of them, sine, cosine and tangent, to be positive here. And if you have to find, for example, sine 45, here the angles that fall here between 0 and what? 90. That's the angle that falls here. So sine 45, sine 60, sine, to find this thing, you just say you find the sine itself. Then the angles that form are between what? 90 to 180. Now, how do we use this second quadrant? There's a whole teaching on this, but let me just go into this. How do you use second quadrant? If you have to find sine 170, what do? You say 180 minus 170. 180 minus 170, which is 10. Sine, since sine is positive, you have plus sine 10, positive sine 10. Remember that. Then for the third quadrant, if you have to find before I get into that, the third quadrant, the angles that fall here are between 180 and what? 270. For example, if you have to find sine 210, it falls here. Sine 210, it falls here. And now, since sine is negative, it means your answer will be negative what? Then you come and you say 180 minus, rather, you say yes, 182, sorry, you say theta minus 180. Theta minus 180. So if you want to find sine 210, it will be 210 minus 180. It will be negative, because sine is negative. Negative 210 minus 180. Let me say that again. When you are in this third quadrant, the angles that fall are between 180 and 270. So let's say you want to find sine 210. You know that sine is negative here, so our answer will be a negative answer. Then, what do we then do? How do we now get this reduced version of sine? We say that, like I tell my student, all of this is to reduce the value of sine to 90 degrees. So what do you do here? You say that it is what? 210 minus 180. 210 minus what? 180. That's how you do it. 210 minus 180. Yeah, 180 minus theta, but here it's 210 minus 180. Why here? It will be 360 minus the angle you are looking for. And now, where is sine negative here? in this our corner. Sine is negative here and here. So what do? This is what we do. We'll say that because sine is negative here, we say that this angle 56 is equal to where sine is negative. What do we use here? Theta minus what? 180. Don't forget I said that to get the angle here, we say theta minus 180. So from here, 56 plus 180 is equal to what? Theta. Let me come here. 56 plus 180. 56 plus 180. 56 plus 180. 236. So theta is what? 236. First, this is the first value of theta. Why are there two values of theta? Because we have two corners where sine is what? Negative. So this is the first value of theta. Now we go to where sine is also negative here because we have this negative value here, negative sign. So we'll do this. We know that this angle here, we say 360 minus theta, right? 360 minus what? Theta. So we say that 56 here is equal to 360 minus what? Theta. So we can say theta now is what? 360 minus 56. What? 360 minus 56? 360 minus 56. So theta is 304. So this is the first value of theta and the second value of what? Theta. One for each of these quadrants. Now you can try that. If you type 6 sine 236 plus 5, you get 0, approximately 0. If you do the same thing to 304, 6 sine 304 plus 5, you get what? 0, approximately. You get the same value. I got 0.02577. Now, why did I get 0.025? Because I approximated the earlier. So you approximately get 0. So it means that we have two values of theta. This is the first and this is the what? Second. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you.